Hello and welcome. I'm the Rambling Director, and today we're going to be talking about Season 1, Episode 15 of Friendship is Magic, Feeling Pinkie Keen. I really love the message of this one, so I'm going to keep the review kind of short today because I mainly want to talk about the message. I always mention the comedy, and the comedy is really good in this episode. I mean, there's some great moments like Twilight literally getting up on her soapbox. And just overall, any episode where Twilight is becoming a little unhinged is an episode that pretty much automatically I'm going to love. But this one just has such a unique message in the entire range of children's shows that I've seen over the years. I don't think I've ever seen one with this message, but it's actually such a good message that I just really want to highlight it here. Pinkie Pie at the beginning starts exhibiting this sense, her Pinkie sense. She kind of knows when things are about to happen and can predict them and tell people to take caution against the things she senses. Twilight starts off as a genuine skeptic, but as her worldview is challenged more and more with the indisputable fact of what she sees with her own eyes, she slowly becomes irrational, until the point where she is what I and many other people on the internet would say, playing a skeptic. She's one of those people who is endlessly being confronted with evidence, but she's just claiming, I can't believe that because I've seen no evidence, and, playing skeptic, just acting like, oh no, this isn't happening, nope, not my lion eyes are deceiving me, that sort of person. It is a great cautionary tale for children and adults. Increasingly, adults need a cautionary tale about this, against being someone who is ideologically possessed by your predisposed notions about the world, to the point where you're just unwilling to believe any evidence to the contrary of what you've already determined to be true. This episode takes Twilight through a real odyssey in her character, going from true skeptic to someone who's ideologically possessed to the point that she just cannot acknowledge anything else, putting herself in an echo chamber, all the way to being completely broken down by the reality of something that she cannot explain. Now, I know if this video picks up any traction, there will be people who will not like what I'm saying. They will not like the message of this episode, and they will think that it's bullcrap. I would just say, and just caution you, to take the message of the episode to heart in at least one respect. I'm willing to bet that if this video picks up any traction, that a lot of you guys already have something in mind that you think I'm talking about. Yet I've not said anything about any religion or any political ideology up to this point in the video. So that just goes to show you all the more. All the things that we just are predisposed to see because we look for them. So that's another thing I just love about this episode. Now, you do sometimes get Christmas movies or Christmas specials, which, let's be honest, are generally geared more towards a religious audience. And they will sometimes, when talking about fictional characters like Santa Claus, allow themselves to have the message that you just have to believe. But very rarely will you see it in a more secular setting, in a widespread mainstream children's show like My Little Pony. This episode just outright says, and I've complained that some of the lessons in the past don't quite line up with what the episode is really teaching, but this one totally does. It's a totally believable journey from skeptic to believer, and the message as stated is perfect. There are beautiful things in this world that you cannot explain. You just have to choose to believe in them. And sometimes it takes a good friend to show you the way. Again, I have not said anything about you should believe X or you should acknowledge Y. I've not stated any of that. I just think it's a really good message because materialism is as ridiculous an idea as Gnosticism, which is the opposite. Materialism is that there's nothing but matter and nothing else matters. And on the other hand, you have something like Gnosticism, which teaches that the spiritual realm matters and the physical world is evil. Both of those ideas are ridiculous. But then you have somewhere in between this very smart lesson that we're being presented with in this episode, that this world is important, and science and skepticism is important. But at the end of the day, although correlation doesn't equal causation, repeated correlation generally is a pattern. It means something's going on. A lot of people complain that we never see the Pinkie sense in action before this episode, but then we see it like 30 times within the episode. But that's crucially important, because we have to set up that this happens enough to establish a pattern. Twilight is correct to be a skeptic when she sees it once or twice, but by the time it's happened 50 times in front of her own eyes, then it becomes irrational to be a skeptic. And your experiential involvement, your own witnessing of these things, that is a logical, rational reason to believe in them. I just love the setup of this episode. I love the way it gets across this message. And again, I just love the message of it. It's so mature, and it's in a show about cartoon horses. So, really and truly, might be my favorite lesson in the whole series. And of course, after season 4, they kind of more or less give up on having lessons stated at the end of the episodes. But this really was like a quintessential episode to me, in terms of like an episode that every kid should see, because that's what we try to teach kids, is there are beautiful things in this world that, you know, it's not necessarily quantifiable. It's not necessarily a scientific reality, but you should believe in them anyway. We teach kids that, and then the minute you get into your teenage years, we start pounding kids and adults over the head with, you're stupid if you believe anything you can't see. Well, personally, I think it's a much more mature lesson to say there are things like truth, goodness, beauty, and love that we can't ground. There's nothing to ground them on. There's no foundation to rest them on, except metaphysical reality that you just have to choose to believe. I know this is really just a coffee-fueled sermon from a guy in a My Little Pony shirt, but take it for what it's worth. I think it's a great lesson. And more adults should also be kind of giving it at least a chance, because there are realities that are just beautiful, good, true realities that rest on the fact you just have to believe them. Like morality. Objective good and bad exist. We build our society on it. We all know it. There are some, trolls who will argue that it doesn't, but the average normal human being knows goodness and evil are real, but you can't prove it. You just have to choose to believe that goodness is there. And you might disagree with me, but that's my thoughts, and man, I love this episode. It'd probably be in my top 5 favorites. So anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you everybody for watching. God bless you, and I will see you in the next one.